Are you addicted to being comfortable? Right now, as you're watching this, your brain is making a choice. It's choosing the path of least resistance. It's choosing the warm blanket over the cold morning run, the Netflix binge over the skill you promised you'd master, the snooze button over the dreams you swore you'd chase. Here's the brutal truth nobody wants to tell you. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They don't fail because they weren't born with the right genes or the right connections. They fail because their brain has become a drug addict, and the drug is comfort. Think about it. Every single day you're faced with 1,000 micro decisions. Do the hard thing or take the easy way out. Push through the resistance or give in to the voice that whispers, just this once. And every time you choose comfort, you're not just avoiding temporary pain, you're building invisible chains around your potential. Your brain doesn't know the difference between surviving and thriving. It just knows that comfort feels safe. But here's what comfort really is. It's a slow poison that kills your dreams one day at a time. While you're choosing easy, someone else is choosing hard. While you're hitting snooze, they're already 3 hours into their day. While you're making excuses, they're making progress. The life you're living right now, it's not your ceiling, it's your floor. But only if you're willing to admit that your current relationship with comfort is the enemy of everything you could become. The question isn't whether you have what it takes. The question is, are you ready to rewire the very operating system of your mind? Because once you understand how your brain actually works, everything changes. Your brain is like a lazy employee who's been getting away with doing the bare minimum for years. It's learned that the easiest path gets rewarded, so that's the only path it wants to take. But here's the incredible thing about your brain. It's also the most adaptable machine on the planet. Every single thought you think, every action you take creates a neural pathway. Think of these pathways like trails through a forest. The more you walk the same trail, the clearer and easier it becomes to walk. Your brain has been walking the comfort trail for so long, it's become a superhighway. Meanwhile, the hard work trail is so overgrown, your brain can barely see it. But here's where neuroscience becomes your secret weapon. Your brain has something called neuroplasticity, the ability to literally rewire itself at any age. Those neural pathways aren't permanent structures. They're like muscles. Use them and they get stronger. Ignore them and they wither away. Every time you choose the hard thing over the easy thing, you're not just completing a task, you're literally rewiring your brain. You're making the hard work pathway clearer, stronger, more automatic, and you're letting the comfort pathway fade into the background. Think about the most disciplined person you know. They weren't born that way. They trained their brain like a warrior trains for battle. They did the same thing you're about to do. They recognized that their brain could either be their greatest asset or their biggest limitation. The incredible truth is this: your brain wants to be efficient. Right now, it's efficient at avoiding hard work, but once you retrain it, it becomes efficient at seeking out challenges, at pushing through resistance, at turning discomfort into fuel. Your brain is waiting for new instructions. The question is, what are you going to teach it? Here's a mindset shift that will change everything. Discomfort is not your enemy. It's your compass pointing directly toward growth. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful has learned this fundamental truth. If it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. But somewhere along the way, we've been programmed to believe that pain means we're doing something wrong, that struggle is a sign to quit, that if something is hard, we should find an easier way. This is the biggest lie ever sold to the human spirit. Pain is not a stop sign. Pain is a signal that your brain is upgrading itself. When you feel that resistance, that voice telling you to quit, that burning sensation in your muscles or your mind, that's not weakness. That's your brain literally creating new neural connections. That's growth happening in real time. Think about a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon. If someone helped it, if they made the process easier, the butterfly would die. The struggle isn't punishment, it's preparation. The resistance isn't an obstacle. It's the very thing that makes the butterfly strong enough to fly. You are that butterfly. And every time you push through discomfort instead of avoiding it, you're not just building strength, you're building identity. You're becoming the type of person who sees a mountain and thinks, challenge accepted, instead of, that's too hard. The most successful people in the world have rewritten their relationship with pain. They've trained their brain to interpret struggle as progress, resistance as growth, discomfort as evidence that they're on the right path. Here's your new mantra. If it's easy, it's not changing me. If it's comfortable, it's not growing me. If it doesn't require everything I have, it's not worthy of who I'm I'm becoming. Start seeing pain as your personal trainer, pushing you toward the version of yourself that can handle anything life throws your way. Mental toughness isn't built in moments of inspiration. It's forged in the mundane, unglamorous rituals that winners perform when nobody's watching. Here's what separates champions from everyone else. They've systematized hard work. They've created rituals that make discipline automatic, that turn mental toughness into muscle memory. First ritual, the morning crucible. Every single day, within the first hour of waking, do something that requires mental or physical effort. Take a cold shower. Do 50 push-ups. Write for 30 minutes. Study something challenging. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that you're training your brain to choose hard over easy before the world has a chance to wear you down. Second ritual, the micro-challenge protocol. Throughout your day, create tiny moments where you deliberately choose the harder option. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Park farther away. Do the task you've been avoiding first. These micro choices seem insignificant, but they're building the neural pathway that says, I am someone who does hard things. Third ritual, the evening reflection. Before you sleep, ask yourself one question. What did I do today that my comfortable self wouldn't have done? If you can't answer that question, tomorrow becomes your opportunity to start building that answer. Fourth ritual, the focus fortress. Choose one thing, one skill, one project, one goal, and protect it like your life depends on it. Every day, give it your first and best energy. Not your leftover energy, not your tired energy, your prime energy. Your brain learns to associate hard work with your peak state, not your depleted state. These are not suggestions. These are the non-negotiables that transform ordinary people into extraordinary performers. Every champion, every elite performer, every person who has mastered their craft has some version of these rituals running in the background of their life. Your rituals become your identity. Your identity becomes your destiny. Motivation is a liar. It promises to show up when you need it most, then disappears the moment things get difficult. Obsession, on the other hand, is the relentless engine that runs whether you feel like it or not. Here's the difference. Motivation asks, do I feel like doing this? Obsession asks, how can I do this better? Motivation needs perfect conditions. Obsession creates perfect conditions. Motivation is an emotion. Obsession is an identity. Think about the last time you were truly obsessed with something. Maybe it was a video game, a TV series, a person you couldn't stop thinking about. Did you need motivation to engage with that obsession? Of course not. You were pulled toward it like a magnet. You found time you didn't know you had. You solved problems you didn't think you could solve. That's the power you need to harness for your goals. Obsession is discipline fused with purpose. It's when hard work stops being something you have to do and becomes something you get to do. It's when your goals stop being external destinations and become internal compulsions. But here's how you build it. You don't wait for obsession to find you. You manufacture it through immersion.
Immersion. You study your craft like a detective studies a case. You surround yourself with it. Think about it. Dream about it. You make it so central to your identity that not pursuing it feels like betraying yourself. The greatest performers in history weren't motivated, they were obsessed. Michael Jordan wasn't motivated to practice, he was obsessed with being unstoppable. Kobe Bryant didn't need motivation to wake up at 4 a.m., he was obsessed with perfection. Your brain craves obsession. It wants something to latch onto, something to organize your entire life around. Right now it might be obsessed with comfort, with entertainment, with avoiding difficulty, but you can redirect that obsession toward your growth, your craft, your becoming. Stop waiting for motivation to knock on your door. Start building obsession like your life depends on it, because it does. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. But here's what nobody tells you. This isn't just about success or wealth. This is about your brain's operating system. Your brain is constantly scanning your environment for social proof about what's normal, what's acceptable, what's possible. If you're surrounded by people who complain instead of create, who make excuses instead of progress, who choose comfort over growth, your brain will adopt those patterns as the standard operating procedure. Look around you right now. Who are the 5 people you interact with most? When you talk about your goals, do they light up with excitement, or do they subtly try to bring you back down to earth? When you push yourself, do they celebrate your effort, or do they make jokes about you trying too hard? This is your social diet, and it's either feeding your growth or poisoning your potential. Champions understand this at a cellular level. They're ruthless about their social environment. They don't just surround themselves with successful people. They surround themselves with people who make hard work contagious, who make excellence feel normal, who make growth feel inevitable. Here's your new social strategy. Audit your circle like your future depends on it, because it does. Identify the energy vampires, the dream killers, the people who are comfortable with mediocrity and want you to be comfortable with it too. You don't have to cut them out completely, but you need to limit their influence on your mindset. Then, actively seek out people who are playing at a higher level. Join communities, attend events, read books, consume content from people who embody the mindset you're trying to build. Your brain will start to normalize their standards, their work ethic, their refusal to settle. Remember, your environment is stronger than your willpower. You can have all the discipline in the world, but if you're constantly swimming upstream against a social current that pulls toward mediocrity, you'll exhaust yourself. Choose your influences like you choose your food, because they're feeding your mind every single day. Here's a secret about your brain that will change how you approach every challenge. Your brain doesn't just tolerate difficulty, it craves it, but only after you prove to it that you can handle what it throws at you. Right now, your brain has set artificial limits on what you think you're capable of. These limits aren't based on your actual capacity, they're based on your historical evidence. Your brain looks at your past and says, based on what we've done before, here's what we can handle. But those limits are completely negotiable. Every time you push past what you thought was possible, your brain recalibrates. It moves the ceiling higher. It expands its definition of what you're capable of. It starts to hunger for bigger challenges because it realizes that's where growth lives. Here's how you systematically expand your limits. Start with a progressive challenge protocol. Choose one area where you want to build capacity, physical endurance, mental focus, creative output, whatever matters to you. Then, every week, increase the difficulty by just 10%. If you can focus for 30 minutes, try 33 minutes next week. If you can run 2 miles, try 2.2 miles. If you can write 500 words, try 550 words. Your brain won't resist this gradual increase, but over time, you'll look back and realize you've doubled or tripled your capacity. But here's where it gets exciting. Your brain starts to anticipate these challenges. It begins to prepare for them. It starts releasing the chemicals associated with achievement before you even begin. You literally become addicted to pushing your limits because your brain has learned that's where the reward lives. The most elite performers in the world understand this principle. They don't wait for life to challenge them. They create challenges that force their brain to upgrade. They voluntarily put themselves in situations that require more than they've ever given before. Your comfort zone isn't protecting you, it's limiting you. Your brain is waiting for evidence that you're ready for the next level. Give it that evidence and watch how quickly it expands your definition of possible.
This is where everything comes together. This is where you stop being someone who occasionally does hard things and become someone who is fundamentally wired for greatness. You've learned the truth about comfort. It's the enemy of your potential. You've understood how your brain works. It's a habit machine that can be reprogrammed. You've redefined pain as progress, built rituals that forge toughness, chosen obsession over motivation, curated your social environment, and systematically expanded your limits. Now comes the transformation that changes everything, becoming addicted to hard work itself. When you reach this level, something magical happens. The resistance that used to stop you becomes the very thing that excites you. The voice that used to whisper, "This is too hard," becomes the voice that says, "This is exactly what I need." The discomfort that used to send you running becomes the signal that you're exactly where you need to be. You become the type of person who wakes up looking for the hardest thing on your list because you know that's where your growth lives. You become someone who sees obstacles as opportunities, setbacks as setups, challenges as chances to prove what you're really made of. This isn't about becoming a workaholic or sacrificing your health or relationships. This is about becoming someone who has trained their brain to find deep satisfaction in the process of becoming. Someone who understands that the goal isn't to avoid struggle, it's to become the type of person who thrives in struggle. Here's your moment of truth. Everything you've learned means nothing if you don't apply it starting right now. Not tomorrow, not Monday, not when you feel ready. Right now. Choose one thing, one area where you've been choosing comfort over growth, one place where you've been settling for less than what you know you're capable of, one challenge you've been avoiding because it feels too hard, and attack it with everything you've learned. Use it as your training ground for rewiring your brain. Make it your laboratory for becoming the person who doesn't just do hard things, who craves them. Stop wishing for an easier life. Start training your mind to love the grind. Your future self is waiting on the other side of everything you've been avoiding. The time for comfort is over. The age of your greatness begins now.